I don't know if they're officially in Damage Control, but Asuka and Kairi Sane becoming allies of the group. We talked about Kairi Sane's return last week, but it was made official on SmackDown. They're all kind of on the same page. Bayley, Dakota Kai, IYO SKY, Kairi Sane, and Asuka all kind of forging an alliance against Charlotte, Flair, Shotzi, Bianca Belair, heading into a women's WarGames match. Now, I said a week ago I was not a fan of that, and the idea, even after we talked, it came out from Meltzer, they're probably going to do a women's WarGames match with Chelsea and Piper, which I said that would be fucking awful. Nothing against them. I like them, but they do not fit into this story at all. It has to be a story that makes sense. And this makes sense. Asuka, I said on hashtag last week it would be dumb if she joined Damage Control, but it's not that she's really joining Damage Control. She's kind of just rejoining or reuniting with Kairi. So that makes sense, I guess. I just don't want her as the leader. We talked about that last week. But if they have her in the group and she's kind of a background player, that's fine. But Dakota Kai's hurt, so it'll very likely be IYO, Bayley, Kairi, and Asuka against Charlotte, Shotzi, Bianca, and a partner. So before we get to who the partner might be, what were your thoughts on the angle itself and what we saw on SmackDown with the women and them kind of getting the spotlight on SmackDown last Friday night?
I went crazy. Big IYO fan, big Kairi fan. Don't really love Asuka, honestly, but when she sprayed the mist in her face, I went crazy. I think it's good. Like you said, I feel like this is eventually leading to Bayley getting out. I feel like Dakota's clearly on IYO's side, so I guess when she comes back, I feel like it would be the four of them, and then Bayley would kind of be on the outs. But no, I think it's good. Like I said, I don't know if they're in. I feel like Kairi, I don't even know, like I said, I don't know if they're in the group, they're not. But I feel like they're going to push Bayley out, and then they kind of form their own little thing. But I thought it was a great way to end the show. Like, so I feel like they were like the spotlight, and I feel like it was done very well.
If they had more time heading into WarGames, and if Dakota Kai was cleared, you could have had Bayley turn babyface here. They might be rushing it, but she could have been the fourth person on that team, and then it would be 4-on-4. Dakota, IYO, Kairi, and Asuka versus Belair, Flair, Shotzi, and Bayley. But they're not doing that because Dakota's not cleared, and they need that fourth person. So, I thought the 6-person tag team match on SmackDown felt like the pay-per-view match, but then Asuka turned, and it was like, okay, that makes sense. Who do you think that fourth person is? Now, the leading speculation from PW Insider, which is a pretty credible source, was Becky Lynch. I'm going to tell you right now, I fucking hate that idea. Now, I know she feuded with them last year, heading into this year. I saw enough of Damage Control versus Becky Lynch to last a lifetime, as I have with Bianca in Damage Control. I know she has history with them, but she's on Raw. She's feuding with Xia Li. It just doesn't make sense. Maybe they just want to get her on the pay-per-view. But we literally saw the exact same fucking thing a year ago, dude. When you and I went to SmackDown. And now on SmackDown, right before Survivor Series, Becky Lynch came back. Becky Lynch came back and joined the Women's WarGames match. It would literally be the same thing as last year. I just feel like that would be lazy. The only other two options I think that would make sense, I know Michin isn't as big of a name as Becky Lynch, but even she, I would rather see in that match. Even she was in WarGames last year too, but I'd rather see her in there over Becky Lynch. I just feel like that's forced. Jade Cargill is another popular option amongst fans. I don't think that she'd be ready for that. Her in a WarGames match just sounds like a recipe for a disaster. I just don't really know how that makes sense either. And then a long shot, and it's probably not it's definitely not happening, but it would make sense if it was Sasha Banks. I don't think she's coming back this soon, but I thought it was worth mentioning because she has the history with Bayley and whatever. And even Kairi, she actually beat Kairi for that IWGP Women's Championship earlier this year. Not that they would mention that. But yeah, just give me your thoughts on who do you think that fourth person might be, Mr. Marceau.
Like you said, they said I saw the report that it was like Becky, and I don't know. I love Becky. I don't know. I just don't think it really fits the story. She's not on SmackDown. Yeah, she feuded with Damage Control, but it was like the beginning of the year. No to Jade. Like I said, that just sounds like a recipe of. It's so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like Michin, I guess, but just like I said, she's just not over, and I just feel like Shotzi's not over either. So it's like their team's just basically Bianca and Charlotte. I don't know if I know people mention Liv Morgan, but I think she's still hurt. I feel like she'd probably fit better than.
Oh, right, yeah.
Honestly, anyone else. At least she's on SmackDown. It makes sense.
She's on Raw, I think,
actually. Is she?
Yeah, not that it really matters, but I mean,
yeah.
I'd rather take her over Becky.
I wouldn't really care if it was Becky. I like Becky, so I want to see her on the show.
Sure.
But like I said, if it's like Michin, I don't know. Like I said, she's just not over, and no one would care. Like,
I mean, yeah, I think they need an oomph for that last person.
Yeah, I feel like you need someone like of notoriety.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like that's why it's like a surprise. So I don't know. I would say it's probably gonna be Becky Lynch. I think it's like I said, it makes no sense when she's on Raw, but I think that's probably what it's gonna be.
Yeah, that's probably the better bet. I just don't think it would make sense, really. I mean, I like Michin. It would make sense for Michin, but if they're going to save this final spot for this coming Friday or next week or whatever, it probably should be a bigger star so people aren't getting their hopes up for no reason. Jade would be nice, but I just feel like it's too soon for that. And not that it wouldn't make sense, because they could say, hey, listen, we want to recruit you. You know, maybe because Bianca even told me when I interviewed her that she would love to team with Jade, and that would be a great excuse to kind of not start that, but, you know, they could team on this one show and then feud later on. I think Jade's better off on Raw, but maybe they put her on SmackDown. They already have enough heels on SmackDown at this point. They don't really need her on SmackDown, and she also should not be a babyface. But, yeah, I mean, there's a couple different ways they can go with it. Zelina Vega, that's an option as well, right?
Yep. Oh, I forgot about Zelina Vega. I'd honestly rather her than Shotzi, honestly.
Well, I mean, Shotzi's going to be in there regardless.
No, I know. I honestly, if I had a pick of the people I could put in, it would be Charlotte, Bianca, Zelina, and then the fourth person would be just tough. Like I said, like Shotzi, like I don't know. She's like a more pushed Michin in my mind. Like she's not really over, and she just gets pushed.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've seen her face Bayley 1,000 times. I really don't need to see it again.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's like kind of like there's this, I don't know, with this match, like you need like, it's tough because you need like multiple people, like at least with the men's, like you have people that are over and it's like not as bad. Like, I don't know, it's tough. Like the SmackDown actually has a really good women's roster, but I don't know, like 8 people that are over, that's pretty hard, especially when the roster's not that big. But like I said, rather if they put Zelina in, I wouldn't mind it.